Today we are talking about time and daily reality. Puppies are arguably the cutest thing I've ever seen, but they're also in an intense developmental stage that requires a lot of time, repetition, and consistency. From a behavioral and physiological standpoint, young puppies don't yet have full bladder control. Research shows that successful house training depends on frequent outdoor trips, consistent timing, and close supervision, often every 1 to 2 hours early on, including nights and early mornings. This is not misbehavior, it's normal neurological and physical development. If your schedule makes it difficult to step outside that often, manage accidents calmly, and repeat the same routines day after day, an older dog may be the better fit. Most older dogs already have bladder control, established rhythms, and experience living in a home environment, which can significantly reduce stress for both the dog and the human. Responsible ownership is not about pushing through overwhelm. It's about being well-informed and choosing the situation where everyone can succeed. Training bandwidth. When you bring home a puppy, you're not just getting a small dog, you're getting a developing brain. Puppies don't arrive knowing how to live in a human home. They don't automatically understand leash pressure, greeting manners, boundaries, or impulse control. All of that is taught through repetition, consistency, and reinforcement. From a behavioral science perspective, young dogs are still building neural pathways for attention, regulation, and decision-making. That means training isn't optional. It's daily, structured, and ongoing. If you don't currently have the time, patience, or interest to actively teach and reinforce behaviors multiple times a day, an older dog may be the better fit. Many adult dogs already understand basic cues, have lived in a home before, and have more developed impulse control. That, of course, doesn't mean that they don't need guidance, but it often means you're refining instead of building from scratch. Responsible ownership means being honest about how much teaching you're realistically willing and able to do. Talking about lifestyle stability. Dogs are highly sensitive to routine and environmental patterns. Research in canine behavior shows that predictability helps reduce stress and supports emotional regulation. Puppies especially rely on consistent schedules for sleep, feeding, potty training, and social learning. Frequent changes in routine, long work shifts, unpredictable travel, rotating caregivers, all of these things can make early development more difficult. That, of course, doesn't mean it can't be done. It just means that puppies require more management and structure, where an older dog may already have established rhythms, longer bladder control, and more developed coping skills. For households with changing schedules or busy seasons of life, that stability can make a meaningful difference. Choosing the right dog is much less about preference and much more about matching developmental needs with your current lifestyle. Dogs thrive on predictability, so it's always important to consider your season of life when deciding between a puppy or an adult dog. Talking about energy. When people picture puppies, they often think high energy. There's an interesting thing to consider though. Behavior research distinguishes between stamina and arousal. Stamina is physical endurance, the ability to move, explore, and play for longer periods. Arousal is emotional intensity, how quickly a dog becomes overstimulated and how easily they settle. Puppies often have both, high stamina and developing regulation. That means they can play hard and struggle to calm themselves without guidance. Adult dogs, on the other hand, may still have stamina, but typically have more developed impulse control and emotional regulation. If you're in a season of life where you need a companion who can settle more easily without constant redirection, an older dog may be the better fit. Teaching a dog or a puppy how to settle, I think, is one of the most important things any dog can learn. Energy isn't the problem. Regulation is what develops with time. And having high stamina and being out of control are very different things. Talking about emotional readiness. Puppies are not just small dogs. They are developing nervous systems. Early life involves sleep disruption, learning frustration, boundary testing, and constant redirection. That's normal development, not bad behavior. From a behavioral science perspective, young dogs are still building impulse control, frustration tolerance, and emotional regulation. That means they will definitely make mistakes, they'll repeat behaviors, and need consistent guidance while their brains mature. If you are currently in a high-stress season of your life, whether that's work demands, health challenges, major transitions, or just limited bandwidth, raising a puppy can amplify that stress. An older dog may offer companionship with more predictable behavior patterns and greater self-regulation. This isn't about capability, it's about capacity. Choosing a dog that aligns with your current emotional bandwidth supports better outcomes for both of you. As a normal part of development, puppies test patience, and having the capacity to care for them properly is so important. Talking about household dynamics. Every home has a rhythm. Children, elderly family members, other pets, work schedules, noise levels. Dogs are highly sensitive to social environments, and puppies are still learning how to navigate them. From a developmental standpoint, puppies explore with their mouths, test boundaries, and lack full impulse control. All of these things are normal behavior, but they require supervision, management, and active teaching. In households with very young children, elderly individuals, or resident animals, that level of constant oversight may not always be realistic. An older dog, especially one with a known temperament and established social skills, may offer more predictability within a complex household. It's less about whether a puppy can fit and more about whether the environment is structured enough to support their development safely. Puppies need consistent management. Teaching proper impulse control and social boundaries takes time and dedication. If you're not ready or able to allocate the necessary time and training, an older dog might be the reasonable choice for your family. Talking about expectations. Social media often shows the highlight reel of puppyhood, the cuddles, the cute moments, the perfect training clips. What it doesn't always show is the normal developmental behavior: biting, barking, accidents, attention seeking, inconsistent responses, and repetition. From a behavioral standpoint, these are not flaws. They are predictable parts of early brain development. Impulse control, frustration tolerance, and reliability develop gradually with age and reinforcement. If your expectations lean toward immediate calmness, predictability, or low disruption, an older dog may align more closely with what you're envisioning. Choosing what's best for your family and for any potential pet that you bring into your home starts with understanding what is developmentally normal and requires training versus what's filtered and romanticized online. Responsible ownership begins with informed humans. Talking about financial reality. Getting a puppy isn't just an upfront cost, it's an investment in development. Puppies require frequent veterinary visits, vaccination series, spay or neuter timing, training classes, preventative care, and sometimes emergency visits because puppies explore everything. From a developmental standpoint, puppies are statistically more likely to ingest foreign objects, experience minor injuries, and require behavior support during the first year. An older dog may already be vaccinated, spayed or neutered, past the intense teething phase, more physically coordinated, and less likely to make impulsive, risky decisions. That does not mean that older dogs don't have costs, they absolutely do. But the type and predictability of those costs may look a little different. Choosing a dog responsibly means considering not just the emotional investment, but the financial capacity to support them through all stages of their life. The right fit has much less to do with preference and much more to do with how prepared, willing, and able you are to care for a dog in a responsible way. Talking about long-term commitment. When you bring home a puppy, you're likely committing to 10 to 15 years, sometimes more. That means thinking far beyond today. Where will you be in 5 years? 10? Will your work schedule change? Are you planning children, a move, a major life transition? From a behavioral perspective, stability over time matters. Dogs form strong attachment bonds and rely on consistent environments and caregivers. If you're in a season where your future feels uncertain or transitional, an older dog might be the better fit. And it's not about avoiding commitment. The greatest gift that you can give to a dog and to yourself is choosing a timeline that matches your capacity. Responsible ownership means planning for the full lifespan, not just the exciting beginning. When choosing between a puppy or an adult dog, the best decision that you can make is the one that you can sustain the longest. Before getting either a puppy or an adult dog, one of the most important questions that you can ask yourself is, can you commit for the next 10 to 15 years? Talking about motivation. Before choosing a puppy or an older dog, it's worth asking one simple question. Why do I want a puppy? Is it the experience of raising them from the beginning, the training journey, the bond built through development, the milestone moment, or is it the idea of companionship, calm presence, and shared daily life? From a behavioral standpoint, puppies require active shaping. You are guiding brain development, building regulation, teaching boundaries, reinforcing habits every single day. If more predictability, established temperament, and a clearer picture of who your dog is are important to you, an older dog might be the better fit. Neither choice is more virtuous and neither choice is more loving. The best choice is the one that aligns with your capacity, lifestyle, and expectations, not just the highlight reel. Responsible ownership begins with honest reflection, and that's where good outcomes start. This wraps up our When an Older Dog Might Be the Better Fit series. Over the last 10 parts, we talked about time and daily reality, developmental brain stages, lifestyle stability, energy versus regulation, emotional readiness, household dynamics, expectations versus social media, financial planning, long-term commitment, and motivation. And none of this is about saying puppies are too hard, and none of it is about saying older dogs are easier. It is about alignment. Different developmental stages require different levels of time, structure, emotional bandwidth, and management. From a behavioral science perspective, good outcomes happen when a dog's needs matches a human's capacity. Responsible ownership is not about trends, and it's not about impulse. And it's also not about proving anything. It's about making thoughtful decisions that set both the dog and the family up for success. If this series helped anyone think more clearly about that decision, then it did exactly what it was meant to do. And if you've watched all this and are convinced that you're ready for a puppy, follow along for our next series on when a puppy might be the right fit.